Hi, Scott Lackman, 4510 TV. On today's episode of Food Lovers Series, brought to you by Longyard Beef Company and Two Old Ducks, we're talking with Josh Long and his mate Joey about sausage making. Good morning, boys.
Good morning, Scott.
G'day, Scotty. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Now let's start with Josh. He is the official butcher for today's episode. Josh from Longyard Beef Company. Sausage making. What's today's episode going to be about, mate?
Righto. So we've made up some Italian sausage meal, like sausage mix, and we're going to show people how to mix it up, run it out into the sausage skins, and give them a demo on how to tie them and make them at home if they just want to make a few kilos, or all the way through to how we do it in the butcher shop.
Those ingredients, Josh, to do that at home, you supply them through Longyard Beef?
Yeah, we do. And anything anyone wants to do at home, we've got it in the shop there, and we're happy to sell it and help you out, teach you how to do it, whatever you want to do. Both at stores, Belmere and Ningy.
Okay. Your little mate Joey here, he's your off-sider today. Joey, your involvement with the sausage making?
Well, the way we do it the old-fashioned way, it sort of takes two people to make the sausage. One bloke to turn the handle and one bloke to feed the skins off, and that's why I'm here.
All right, lovely. We'll get you out behind from there in a moment, but let's go on stage. Let's see what you bring to the table with the sausage making, and we'll come back and talk to the boys after this.
Righto, thanks very much. Okay, I'll start with just letting you know what's in the mix. You can make sort of whatever mix you want up, but we've made an Italian one today, which is we used all pork, and we run it through the coarse plate twice, which is, if you got your little home mincer, you'll have 3 different size plates, and we've used the coarsest one, just so it has that sort of chunky, meaty, steaky taste when you eat it, instead of that sort of soft protest sausage sort of taste. So all we've done is just mixed a bit of white pepper and black pepper, some garlic powder, fennel seed, and I think that's about it, and a little bit of rice flour for meal, just to make it bind. And the trick with the sausages is you really got to mix them up, because you release the myosin in the meat and make them bind together, otherwise they fall apart. And so we mix them up really, really well. Yeah, they can see them. And very good. So with these little home machines at the butcher shop, we got a big 30 kilo hydraulic one. But with these little home machines, it's very important to get the air out, and which is a big thing in mixing them as well. And so when you pack this tube, a bit of water on your hands so nothing sticks. And you want to pack it in really tight so you get all the air out. Because you imagine if you have air in that canister, you start cranking it up, it'll have these air pockets, it'll start popping, put air in your skin, and when you cook them on the barbecue later or whatever, it'll start, the skins will pop and they'll look terrible, shrink up. So yeah, we usually just get it in there in the big machine, we throw it in. With this one, just got to really pack it in with your hand, and just load it up. Yep. It's also good if you make a full tube full, because otherwise you got to worry about the plunger with the air behind it. So we're going to make a fat sausage today, which traditionally is a pork intestine, which sounds a bit gross, but it's the old-fashioned way of doing it. The ones you buy now from supermarkets and things, they're made of collagen casing, like a manufactured skin, and that's why they sort of get those burn lines. They don't crackle. Whereas the traditional skin, the thin sausage used to be a lamb casing or a lamb intestine, and the fat ones are a pork intestine, and just a much better sausage. You get that crunch when you eat it. A little bit harder to use, a little bit more expensive, but they're definitely for home the only way to go. So we buy them like that. So they come on they're already graded and washed, and to make sure there's no holes in them, and they come on a plastic tube. Sometimes you can buy them from your butcher and they don't come on a tube and they just look like that, and you just sort of got to feed them on your nozzle. It's a lot easier to get one like that, and it's got a little finger hole on there, and you just slide them straight on, and you know you're going to get a perfect one every time. So your butcher shop, I think you make about 50 kilos or so out of a packet you buy from your butcher, and they're about $20 or so. And you can freeze those if you don't use them all. You can you just put them in a Tupperware container or a Glad bag with salty water and freeze them in the freezer, or you can just pack them in salt, and if you don't use them all. Righto, how'd you go, mate? Load it up. Righto, I'll give you the rundown on this skin. You see that machine there? Yep. Righto. So there's a few different size nozzles, and so use about the medium one for your thick one. Yeah. So we'll whack this one on. So you put the tube over it, put it on, and hold your hand on the skin, and you just pull it out like that, and it'll stay on there. So they're on there instead of having to thread it on. You imagine if you we make about a ton of sausages in a day at our shops. So if you had to feed all these on by hand, it turns into a little bit of a mission. Just make sure it's knotted at the end. It's knotted at the end of it. Yeah. Righto.
Squeeze. Best thing to do now, before you tie the end off, is to squeeze whatever air you got in the chamber. It'll stop a big airlock in the end of your sausage. So I'll just when you're turning the handle, it's to be constant, like you do it nice, steady pace, so that you don't get a big surge at one time. So just squeezing that out there, and you can just sort of hear the air coming out now. Right.
Righto. Once you get meat coming out the end, you know you got no more air in there. You just want to do a half hitch on the end. There we go. Righto, so just a half hitch. So I just wrap it around both my fingers like that, and then put it back through the middle, and that's just a half hitch. You can do any knot really, as long as it holds on there. Righto.
Okay.
So to govern the speed, apart from the man on the crank handle, you use these two fingers just to apply pressure. So if it's coming out, you know, not enough meat in there, then squeeze on there, and it'll slow the skin down. So you want to get that. Oops. That's all right, keep going. Yep. You want to keep that sort of constant like that, so you get no air bubbles. So if you let it go, it'll sort of go out too quick, and you'll end up with all the air pockets all the way through it. So if you're getting them a little bit too tight, because you got to leave them a little bit loose, so you can tie them in knots, and just use this hand and just squeeze the meat down as you go, so you can keep that, know exactly what you're doing.
You all right with that sausage there, Josh?
All good, mate. Righto, so I think we got about 9 kilos in the machine here. So another big thing is as well, the next day, like you imagine if you put a little bit of pepper in here, by the next day you can taste it a lot more. So the first time you try it, it might not taste really flavoursome, but once it marinates overnight and then you cook it up, it'll be a bit more potent. Righto, you can also get these little sausage machines that just go on your food processors and blenders, which will work out pretty well. Righto, so that's about how they look when they run out. Now, I'll show you a couple of different ways. I'll show you the proper way at a time, but also if you're just making a few at home, you can just twist them, like find your length, pinch it, twist them one way, go along, and then twist it the next way so it fights against each other. And you leave them in your fridge overnight, and they'll set up, they call, where it sticks to the skin, and then they'll stay rolled like that. So if you just want to do a few, that's probably an easy way to go. And you want to leave these overnight before you cook them or anything like that, because they will, like I said, the moisture will bleed out through the skins, and they'll stick to the skins. And if you were to throw these straight on a hot pan now or a barbecue, you'll pop all the skins because the moisture's trying to force out. So we make them at the butcher shop and leave them overnight before we even think about selling them the next day. So, you know, the longer you leave them, if you leave them for 2-3 days, they're going to be a lot better sausage. Righto, so that's the way you can do them at home. The way we do them in the butcher shop to get those hands of 3 is same way. You find your length. So these are a fat sausage, so I'll go a little bit shorter. Your normal barbecue sausage would probably be about there. And then back on itself to find that length again. So we try and make it so when you run in the cold room, you know that there's 9 to a kilo. So you just cut 9 sausages off. So the boys have got to cut them all the same length all the time, otherwise it gets a little bit confusing. And when we can tell people you get, 15 to the kilo or whatever when they're trying to cater something or whatever. So righto. So you got your first one. Your next one comes up, makes your length. This hand here brings the next one up, pinches, and goes back through that hole. So the most important thing is you're always using the same hands for the same job. So this one is always working on the sausages you've tied, and this one's always the one feeding the sausages in. If you start switching your hands around, you'll get them all twisted up. So pinching with these fingers, you just pinch because if you just try and twist, it'll pop the skins. So do a little half turn, and your hand's already in the right spot. You've already got an opening for where the next one's got to go. So you just pinch again, and you're holding on to the next one, so you know where it's got to go back through again. So that's where this one's going to go. Through it goes. Make your length of 2 sausages. Pinch with this hand again. Half turn. And you already know where it's going. Your hands are in the same spot, so it's just the same knot over and over again. And you always we had the sausage tying competition up here yesterday, which was pretty funny. And that's what they were doing. They were just kept getting their hands mixed up. And so the sausage was working its way through all these, and it was all tied up, and it was a nightmare. So, yeah. So you really want to get going and keep your hands in the right spot. Bit of twist.
The boys, Josh and Joey, they've just come off stage. You saw on the footage there the sausage making brought to you by Long Yard Beef. How'd that go, fellas?
Yeah, it was great. Everyone was excited about it, and a few of them sound like they're pretty keen to come down to the butcher shop and buy a few ingredients and give it a go themselves.
Joey, what did you see from the audience just then?
Oh, just the involvement with the audience, because a lot of people want to try their own recipes at home, and it's something that we've done for years, and it's good that they actually see that they can do it.
Yep.
And they're really interested to see how the whole process was, so I think it's going to be a good outcome.
Okay, excellent. Josh, anything else? You've got your stall here today at Destination Food, part of the Farm Fantastic Expo. How's your stall going? We might just fit that into today's episode of what you were offering, and just a bit of an elaboration on the goods that you do have at Long Yard Beef.
Okay. Yep. So we're sort of out here. It's great for us because we've got the two locations. It's hard for us to bump into all our customers through the week and things. So out here we run into everyone, give everyone free samples, cook up our products so they can actually try them without buying them. And also this year we're doing all cooked products. So we've got our steak burgers, our sausage on a roll, caramelised onion, and we've got the 2 Old Ducks fairy dust, and we're making up beer battered chips as well for everyone to try. Plus we've got our wood smoked cabanas. We do all the traditional wood smoking at Long Yard Beef, so with the old timber, proper wood smoking, and instead of chemical smoke, which a lot of the stuff you buy now is. So we're just really promoting that this weekend, so it's great.
Spot on. Belmere Butcher and Ningy Butcher, part of the Long Yard Beef company family, and thanks that episode, sausage making, you heard it from the butcher himself. Joey's backed it up. If you want to put some unusual ingredients, you can make your own sausages. Talk to the boys at Ningy or Belmere Butcher to get all your ingredients. And thanks for this episode of Food Lovers Series.
Thanks very much.
Well, that was episode 3, sausage making with Long Yard Beef Company, Josh Long as the main butcher. Bit of fun there with the boys teaching you how to make sausages from home. And any ingredients you need for that, head down to Long Yard Beef Company, the Belmere Butcher or Ningy Butcher for those ingredients. Coming up on the Food Lovers Series, episode 4, we're going to be interviewing with Rob Bauer from Bauer's Organic Farms, showing us everything that's involved in organic farming, from carrots to potatoes to broccoli, you name it. It definitely passes the snap test, so you'll have to stay tuned for that. Episode 4 coming up on Food Lovers Series.